President Biden is a leader with a vision for our future. He has the ambition to meet the challenges of the moment here and around the globe.
Right now, the largest migrant caravan in over a year is marching right towards the United States. It is said to be up to 7,000 people strong.
Our president has been an extraordinary leader who has accomplished things that previous presidents hoped and dreamed and promised they would do and did not achieve.
We have 600,000 known gotaways this year alone, fiscal year 23, and 169 have been caught on the terror watch list. So the chances of a Hezbollah agent in the United States operating is probably pretty high.
You're confident this border's secure?
We have a secure border.
You're saying we don't see the whole Western Hemisphere coming up in caravans through Central America into Mexico, right into Texas? Of course we see it. We see exactly what they're doing, and we don't do anything about it.
Do not come. The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border.
There's been no action. There's been no change. Nothing really has been done for a lot of border towns. There's now a new huge caravan of immigrants heading for the U.S., but we've seen this before. Here it is again.
This president's medieval vanity project called a wall. I'm not going to vote for a wall under any circumstances, and I do support border security, and if we want to talk about that, let's do that.
The Biden administration is about to begin building a new border wall in Texas.
We don't need a multi-billion-dollar wall. That wall ain't gonna stop them.
Now the Biden administration is turning to a tactic they once denounced, building a border wall, with the Department of Homeland Security warning there is presently an acute and immediate need to construct physical barrier.
Around his vanity project called a wall.
I found it when I was turning on my phone and saw that. I thought, my God, what is this? Science fiction. I'm serious. Didn't you have the same thought when you saw it?
And the thing about Joe that the American people know is that his role of leadership in our country has always been about doing what's best for the people of our country.
Marching right towards the United States. It is said to be up to 7,000 people strong.
And House Democrats have made history electing Congressman Hakeem Jeffries as the first ever person of color to lead a party in Congress.
I'm confused. I really am. We're all trying to figure out, who are you, where did you come from, and how the heck did you become the head of the Department of Justice? So hopefully you can help me work through this confusion.
All right, well, I mean, Congressman,
Mr. Whitaker, that was a statement, not a question.
Okay.
I assume you know the difference.
Wait, what? What was wait?
Who are you, where did you come from, and how the heck did you become the head of the Department of Justice? So that was a statement, not a question.
Okay.
I assume you know the difference.
Members of the Congressional Black Caucus took to the floor of the House, raised their hands in a show of solidarity, and called on Congress not to run away from the problems exposed by the killing of Mike Brown.
Hands up. Don't shoot.
True or false? Before Michael Brown was shot and killed, he raised his hands above his head and shouted, "Hands up, don't shoot." False. Federal investigators from the Department of Justice found no credible evidence that Brown ever raised his hands in a don't shoot gesture.
Down in Ferguson, Missouri, the law enforcement officer who pulled the trigger and killed Michael Brown.
The statement that an innocent black man was killed by a racist cop in Ferguson, Missouri, is a lie. Those who say otherwise are either willfully deceiving you for their own purposes or are wholly ignorant of the facts.
The law enforcement officer killed Michael Brown.
Federal and local authorities say the evidence shows hands up, don't shoot didn't happen. The final Department of Justice report concludes Michael Brown's hands were not up in surrender when he was shot and killed by Officer Wilson. The report shows Officer Wilson was justified, but in this case at least, the facts can't stop a slogan.
Well, the video clearly shows that Eric Garner died as a result of what is an illegal chokehold being employed by an officer.
Federal prosecutors will not bring charges against any New York City police officer involved in the death of Eric Garner.
Throughout the years, presidents from Ronald Reagan to Barack Obama, Dwight Eisenhower to Lyndon Baines Johnson have spoken to this chamber and urged us to put aside partisan politics for the good of the American people.
Tonight, I call upon all of us to set aside our differences, to seek out common ground, and to summon the unity we need to deliver for the people. This is really the key. These are the people we were elected to serve.
House Democrats will continue to partner with President Biden and Senate Democrats to put people over politics. To put people over politics.
A few moments later.
When on January 6, 2021, a violent mob of insurrectionists, incited by some in this chamber, overran the House floor as part of an effort to halt the peaceful transfer of power. House Democrats will continue to partner with President Biden to put people over politics. Joe Biden won the 2020 presidential election. He's doing a great job. And no amount of election denialism will ever change that reality. Russian spies cooperated with the Trump campaign to sell out our democracy, interfere with the election, and artificially place Donald Trump in the presidency, as evidenced by the position that many of the election deniers on the other side of the aisle continue to hold. Possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Putin's Russia. The ongoing criminal investigation that was being conducted by the FBI into possible collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians. The allegations here are that the Trump campaign engaged in a conspiracy with Russian spies and operatives in order to sell out our democracy, artificially place Donald Trump in the Oval Office. And no amount of election denialism will ever change that reality. With Donald Trump as a private citizen, so-called businessman, you've got possible conspiracy with Russian spies to sell out our democracy that occurred during the campaign. 17 different intelligence agencies have concluded that the Russians interfered with the election in order to help Donald Trump. The election deniers on the other side of the aisle. First of all, 17 different intelligence agencies have concluded that Russia interfered with our election, attacked our democracy for the sole purpose of artificially placing someone at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. 17 different intelligence agencies have concluded that the Russians interfered in the election to help Donald Trump. 17 different United States intelligence agencies have concluded that Vladimir Putin and his Russian operatives interfered with our election in order to help Donald Trump. Many of the election deniers on the other side of the aisle continue to hold. Well, it shows a very troubling degradation of our politics to attack the commander-in-chief at a time when we should be concerned about the ISIL threat and what it presents to national security. Donald Trump poses the greatest presidential threat to our democracy since Richard Nixon. They have been attempting to delegitimize this president from the moment he was sworn in January of 2009. Russian spies who attacked our democracy, WikiLeaks, and members of the Trump campaign. The rhetoric has gotten more strident, showing the hatred that many on the right seem to have for this president and for his success. One thing is clear is that there is a cult of criminality that has surrounded the President of the United States that should trouble everyone, Democrats, Republicans, and independents. The experts have made clear that a border wall is not the solution.
In a filing late yesterday, Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas waived 26 federal laws to expedite restarting construction on former President Trump's border wall. He wrote there was an acute and immediate need for the project.
And what Donald Trump and the Republicans want to do is waste $5 billion in taxpayer money on an ineffective medieval border wall that is a 5th century solution to a 21st century problem.
The Biden administration took steps Wednesday to pave the way for some border wall construction.
They've been so determined to make sure that President Obama failed to the detriment of the American people.
Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas wrote there is presently an acute and immediate need to construct physical barriers.
Absolutely, but the problem with the Republican attack machine is that facts don't matter. And if you look at this presidency, it's been one of the most successful in history.
The time for partisanship is over. It's time to get back to doing the business of the American people.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Black people, put your motherfucking hands up. White people, put your motherfucking hands up. Latinos, put your motherfucking hands up. Everybody, put your motherfucking hands up. In the strip club now, gonna get down with this fine little hottie in my hometown. She's world-renowned, got me spellbound. Can't wait to shut her fat ass down. Keep shaking that ass with all that sass. Got a pocket full of cheddar, I'll spend that cash. My bodyguard needs a bodyguard. Got an ace up my sleeve, hold all the cards. Wear the crown just like a czar. King with the sting, I'm so bizarre. Got a fancy car, taking me real far. From North Chuck, I'm a star. Now I'm in the spot, watching titties high.